North Korea. Life under an oppressive regime in the contemporary world. The existence of North Korea poses a profound contradiction to the ideals of democracy, freedom, and human rights. This isolated nation, home to over 26 million people, operates under a totalitarian regime that is often considered one of the most oppressive in modern history. The supreme leader, Kim Jong-un, rules with absolute authority, commanding not only the military but also the hearts and minds of his people through an extensive network of propaganda and repression. Historical context. From unity to division, the historical roots of North Korea's present situation are deeply intertwined with its tumultuous past. For more than a millennium, Korea was a unified kingdom, known for its rich cultural heritage and strong national identity. This unity was abruptly disrupted in the early 20th century when Korea fell under Japanese colonial rule in 1910. The period of harsh oppression lasted until Japan's defeat in World War II in 1945, leaving Korea to grapple with the aftermath of war and colonial exploitation. Following the end of the war, Korea was divided along the 38th parallel, leading to the establishment of two separate states, North Korea and South Korea. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, North Korea, was founded under the influence of the Soviet Union, while the Republic of Korea, South Korea, was established with support from the United States. The ideological rift between the two governments would soon escalate into the Korean War. 1950–1953. A conflict marked by brutal warfare and immense suffering that left deep scars on both sides. The emergence of totalitarianism. The establishment of a totalitarian state in North Korea can be traced back to the leadership of Kim Il-sung, the country's founding leader. His implementation of Juche, or self-reliance, became the guiding ideology of the state, promoting the notion that North Korea should be independent from foreign influence. This policy not only led to isolation from much of the world but also cultivated an intense form of nationalism that glorified the state and its leadership. Under Kim Il-sung's regime, the government exerted total control over the economy, society, and the lives of individuals. Propaganda was pervasive, with a focus on portraying the leader as infallible. The state monopolized all media and education, ensuring that citizens were indoctrinated from a young age. This tight grip on information stifled any dissent and perpetuated a culture of fear, where even the slightest criticism could lead to severe punishment. The legacy of Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un. Kim Il-sung's death in 1994 marked the beginning of a new era under his son, Kim Jong-il. The younger Kim continued and intensified many of his father's policies, maintaining a rigid structure of governance characterized by human rights abuses and extensive surveillance. The 1990s brought devastating famine to North Korea, known as the Arduous March, during which millions suffered from starvation and malnutrition. Despite this humanitarian crisis, the regime's priority remained the preservation of power rather than the welfare of its people. In 2011, Kim Jong-un ascended to power, inheriting a regime built on oppression and isolation. He has since bolstered the military's influence and pursued aggressive nuclear development, heightening tensions with the international community. Under his rule, human rights violations have persisted, with reports of forced labor camps, public executions, and systemic oppression of dissent. The quest for freedom. Defection stories. Amid the harsh realities of life in North Korea, many citizens dream of escaping the regime's clutches. The journey to freedom, however, is fraught with peril. South Korea remains the primary destination for defectors, primarily due to its geographical proximity and historical ties. Yet, the heavily fortified Demilitarized Zone (DMZ) presents a formidable barrier. This buffer zone, lined with walls, landmines, and armed guards, is one of the most secure borders in the world. One of the most dramatic stories of defection involves Oh Chong-song, a North Korean soldier who made a daring escape in 2017. He sped toward the DMZ in a military vehicle, enduring gunfire from his fellow soldiers. Severely injured but determined, he ultimately crossed into South Korean territory, highlighting the extreme risks that many North Koreans are willing to take for a chance at freedom. His story captivated international attention, shedding light on the desperate conditions that drive individuals to such perilous acts. Escaping by sea. A risky alternative while crossing the DMZ is one option. Some defectors have attempted to flee by sea, navigating the treacherous waters surrounding the Korean peninsula. In 2007, a North Korean family undertook a perilous journey across the Sea of Japan in a small wooden boat. With limited supplies and no modern navigation tools, they faced countless challenges, including the threat of interception by North Korean patrols. After 6 grueling days at sea, they successfully reached Japan, symbolizing the lengths to which individuals will go in pursuit of freedom. Another notable story involves Lee Chun, a former high-ranking official who escaped through a risky swim across the Yellow Sea. On a stormy night, he and a friend infiltrated a heavily guarded coastal area. After enduring a grueling 8-hour swim, they reached a deserted island, where they were eventually rescued by South Korean forces. Their successful defection highlights the ingenuity and courage of those who seek to escape oppression. The dangers of defection through China. Defection routes through China have become increasingly perilous due to heightened surveillance and strict repatriation policies. North Korean defectors who are caught in China face the grim prospect of being returned to North Korea, where they risk severe punishment, including imprisonment or execution. In a dramatic incident in 2004, a group of North Korean defectors stormed the Canadian embassy in Beijing, seeking asylum and drawing international attention to the desperate plight of those fleeing the regime. Despite the risks, some individuals have still managed to navigate these dangerous waters. However, the overall number of defectors has sharply declined in recent years, particularly since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. The North Korean government has tightened border controls and restricted movement, making escape increasingly difficult. Conclusion. The continuing struggle. While the challenges of escaping North Korea are immense, the human spirit's desire for freedom remains unquenchable. The stories of bravery and resilience among defectors serve as powerful reminders of the urgent need for awareness and advocacy regarding human rights in North Korea. Even as the regime continues to tighten its grip, the hope for a better future endures in the hearts of those who yearn for liberty.